Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Power Is Now. My name is Eric Frazier, and this is the Power Agent Spotlight. Today, we are spotlighting Adriana Montes. She's the broker owner of Florida Dreams Realty in Central Florida, and she's here to talk about her business and her passion as it relates to real estate. Adriana writes for us in our magazine. She conducts her own show called the Homebuyer Town Hall, and she also has a podcast on the Powers Now Real Estate Show. So you can find all of that information at thepowerisnow.com. Thank you, Adriana, again for your time today to share more about your business and real estate.
Thank you, Eric, so much for having me here. It's always a pleasure to work with you for 3 years. I'm so excited that we're part of this network. We're making so much impact in the lives of people, teaching them about real estate, about the importance of ownership. And it's been a fun journey doing this with you.
Adriana, I appreciate you saying that because it has been an incredible journey, not only just to hear you and see you speak on what's going on in Florida and the various markets there, but to educate us as well about the market. Adriana, I want to go back to when you first began your career. You're not originally from this country. So tell us, how did you come to this country and how did you get into real estate?
Well, Eric, I am from Colombia. I was born in Colombia, and I came to this country at 18, pursuing the American dream. My family also, my dad worked in a sugar mill factory, and it was a zone that was very persecuted by the guerrilla. We were low middle income family, but my dad had a very important position that allowed the production of the factory of sugar mill. So at that point, guerrilla was so important, and they will do threats of kidnapping the main people, the key people of the factory. That way, they will ask for ransom to the owners of the factory for their employees, because they'll basically have to stop the production. So we learned as family to live with those threats of being kidnapped, and it was pretty common in Colombia to kidnap people, to ask for ransom, to ask for money. And also, we lived in the time of the narcos, all of these wars, all of these just drug cartels. It was a very challenging childhood, teenage years to live there, because you couldn't go anywhere, you really couldn't play freely with friends and go to the movies. So being from that environment, I always had a dream of freedom, a dream of being in a place where I could at any time go to the movies, go to have ice cream, and not only that, but also to be in a place of opportunities. At that point, Colombia had again the drug cartel and the drug war, so it's really hard to advance if you wanted to be a business owner. It was really hard to make it. So I always had the dream of coming to America, and I pursued the American dream basically, just that pursue that freedom, pursue that happiness, pursue that financial independence.
Wow. Did you come here speaking English? Did you learn English in Colombia? Did you have to learn it here?
Yeah, well, that was a little problem, little roadblock, because I didn't know any English. So I actually learned English at 18, hence my accent is still, I'm sure you haven't noticed my accent at all. But yeah, I learned English at 18. So coming to another country where you don't understand what's happening, I'm sure if you ever been to China, when I was in China, I felt like they were talking Chinese. I felt so lost. So here was challenging at first. So I first enrolled at UCF to learn English as a second language, and learn that, and then decided to get a bachelor's in finance and marketing and study that. And then from there, just started. I mean, at first I was just having basic jobs, cleaning offices, cleaning homes, doing cappuccinos at a Disney store, working at a fast food place, Miami Subs. I was also working for the company that does the 3D glasses for Disney, McLean, and I will work the 7 a.m. shift the 11 p.m. shift from 11 p.m. to 7 a.m. And I'll get out at 7 a.m. and I'll ask to have another shift so I could make money. So I'll work like 16 hours. So yeah, it was very challenging, but this is what's beautiful about this land, like the American dream is still alive, is still and the land of opportunity, the home of the free, of the brave, and this is a great place. This is the greatest place on earth. A lot of people criticize it, but there is really no another place where you can work really hard, have freedom, and and get ahead in life. If you are an entrepreneur, the true spirit of entrepreneur is really rewarded in this country.
Adriana, so let me break this down. You came here not speaking any English, had to learn the language, and then you went to the University of Central Florida and obtained your undergrad degree in business administration and management. And then you went on and got your master's degree. Can you just give us this? I mean, what was the motivation behind this commitment to education? And while you're getting this education, and having known you for a while, I just can't even see you cleaning houses and working in fast food places. This is not the Adriana that I know. But give us this history here of your educational, let's say, matriculation.
Yeah, well, I look very glamorous right now, but I could go and do whatever anytime. So that's good. I think that's one of the things that I love about being Colombia and coming from low means, just at the end of the day, that's not that important. You gotta do what you gotta do. So I believe in education. I just, like I said, my family didn't come from any means. I wasn't a wealthy family, and my dad always told me that he wasn't gonna leave me any inheritance, and that the only thing that he could put on my heart, my mind, is that I needed to pursue the value of education. That education was gonna be the inheritance he could leave me. So I believed in education for that. I also believed in education because it kind of proved that you could persevere, that you can make a decision, commit to it, and just go push through until the end. So I wanted to study finance. I love numbers, marketing. I mean, I love, exposing your product, your business, branding. And then, so I always wanted to have a bachelor's. I wanted to start collecting degrees. So I wanted to have a bachelor's, a master's, doctorate degree. Not only for that, but I also wanted to show my kids, my family, my friends, everybody that it's possible, and that education actually can help you get ahead. I know a lot of people are against education and they don't think that education is needed, and for some it's not needed. But it never takes away from somebody when you're educated. It never minus from somebody. If you have an MBA, we have a JD, it actually is better, and it actually creates a very strong character of persistence. So yeah, so I finished my bachelor's with honors. I did a thesis, and then I decided to get an MBA because at that point I realized that I wanted to be a business owner, and I was already a business owner. And I thought, well, why not I learn the mastery of business so that I could actually master my own business. I didn't want to work for somebody on a corporate job, but I really said, if all of these people get MBAs to work in corporates and make those corporation better, why wouldn't I get an MBA for myself and to make my business very successful, and know how to run it, know how to deal with employees, and just accounting, just all of the areas that you need to be aware as a business owner. And then also, and then later, I decided to get a JD. I also had a dream of being a neurosurgeon, but I decided to pursue business. So, and it was too late to go to medical school at that point. So I said, let me go to law school, get a Juris Doctorate, which I did, because also for my business, I didn't want to work for a firm. I didn't want to go pursue a new career. I already had a very good established career that I loved in real estate. But I thought, well, this would help me a lot with contracts, with negotiation, which is knowing my rights, which is being able to articulate even much better when I have a problem. And not only that, but also my grandfather was a judge in Colombia, and nobody pursued that in the family. He wanted my mom to go to law school, and my mom decided to stay home to take care of me instead of going to law school. So I felt that it was my turn to make him proud in heaven and to keep that in the family. So I went for my JD, and that was a great experience. And also passed the bar exam the second time in Florida. The first time was, I failed by like 2.5 points because, unless you go to an Ivy League school, there is terms that you never heard. And even me coming as a second language. and some term called snarling dog, which I thought about my Yorkie back then, and she wasn't snarling enough, and obviously felt that question about personal injury. And then I studied really hard again from 11 a.m. to 7 p.m. for 2 months straight, and passed with like flying for with like 15 points above what I needed. So yeah, so I'm a big believer in education. I think education is a great tool for everybody who wants to get ahead, who wants to pursue, build their career, their character. And I'm very proud of all those things that I accomplished with my education. So I got my bachelor's from UCF in finance and marketing, and then I'm a graduate of Western Michigan University from my JD. And do not get scared. I didn't go in the cold and live there because I couldn't survive in Michigan, but they have a campus in Tampa, so that's where I study.
Adriana, it's very impressive. Your history, coming to this country, making education your focus, acquiring the degrees, the diplomas. And then with that comes a great deal of credibility that not only are you a real estate professional, but you understand the law, you understand business, and you're able to convey that to your clients. At what point did you decide that you wanted to make real estate your career? And what makes you so passionate about selling and representing, selling real estate and representing buyers?
Well, at first, my dream was to work in the stock market and to work with stocks. And I interviewed for Merrill Lynch after I graduated from college. And they said you have to go and get a portfolio of clients, help them, invest. But it wasn't, for some reason, it wasn't that attractive to me. Then I decided to get a mortgage license and started doing mortgages. I love the numbers. Back then, it was a great opportunity to do mortgages, and I really enjoyed that. So when I started doing mortgages, I realized that I wanted to kind of work in the financial services. So I had a mortgage company, had that successfully for a few years, then opened an insurance company, got an insurance license, opened an insurance company, and was working on investments and was working on that side also financial services. So my dream was to have a conglomerate of companies that could service somebody financially in all of the services they need, which is a mortgage, insurance, retirement, and buying a home. So eventually got my real estate license and I started doing real estate and opened my real estate company. And then as I had experience in all of these, I realized that, you cannot be a master of all trades. I try many times, but you have to pick one. And I started coming very dear to my heart, real estate, because I started seeing the dream of homeownership, what everybody calls in America the dream of homeownership, which is that America is a very special country because you can buy a house, and then once you buy a house, it becomes your homestead, and then it puts you in a special place in your taxes to be able to deduct those interest. It also protects you from creditors, and people are proud, and then they start like building their future around their home. And not only that, but then you use that real estate to buy a second home, a vacation home, and then you expand that to buy rental properties, to buy income properties, buildings. And I realized that I could make more impact for my clients and then for myself and for my own family through real estate. Because as much as I could do mortgages or I could sell insurance policies, by really studying the art of real estate, you could really impact lives. And I started learning that most families that are very wealthy in this country, they create generational wealth through real estate. That's one of the main avenues. So I became very passionate about seeing people buying their homes, being successful, and also so helping them with that, and then helping that for myself. Started doing that myself also. I started had been able to help my family as I was doing that, and that was very important to me to see that real estate was like a great vehicle to create wealth, financial freedom, and other sources of income. So I basically fell in love with the art of making that dream happen, making that opportunity. It was a place of opportunities that I see through real estate. And I really became also, I loved like the art, being an architect of a deal. So negotiating and making the deal happen, finding opportunities, and then, or even I learned about flipping and renting, buying a home, then fixing it, creating more rooms for rentals. So all of that I just became like a passion, and I didn't feel like dragging to go to work for that. I just felt like, wow, what opportunity am I going to have today to create more wealth, or to help somebody be a homeowner, or somebody be an investor. So I really became passionate of what I worked on my career. So it became my passion.
Adriana, when you came to this country, your focus was on education. At what point did you acquire your first home to have your piece of the American dream? And through this experience in working in a mortgage and insurance and in real estate, when did you decide to start your own firm?
Yeah. So I acquired my first homestead home when I was 20 years old. So I bought a new pre-construction home. And that was my first experience at 20 years old, being able to buy a home. I mean, I never dreamed I could do that in Colombia, like in Colombia, people think, my dad's gonna give me a home, or I don't know, something different. But here at 20 years old, I was able to obtain a home, obtain credit to buy the home. I obtained my first car at 18. My stepfather co-signed for me, and that was amazing too. And being able to like capitalism, being able to explore and be participant and living of this system that actually allow you to get ahead, allow you to create dreams and to make things happen. At that point, at 20 years old, was when I became a first time homeowner. And I realized, financial services, real estate is something that I really should look into it, and it can make a difference in my life.
So at what point did you transition from homeowner to business owner?
So at that point, I was 20 years old, and I graduated from my bachelor's at 23, 2003. So basically 22. So when I graduated, and like I was saying, I had an opportunity to go and work for Merrill Lynch, a corporate job. At that point is when I started exploring just getting a license, a mortgage license, and becoming my own boss. So that's when I transitioned basically out of college right away. I just transitioned to be a business owner. I worked for a company for 5 years, which I'm very grateful to. When I was on college, I worked for Alamo Rental Car. I worked there. It was my first job after I had my papers and I could officially work. And that was my job that I got. And it was basically, I was selling upgrades. I was a sales agent. I was selling upgrades, additional driver, car seats, all sorts of additional services. And I was getting commission money on that. And I don't know, I was cute. I'm not sure if everybody spoke my accent, but I was very hungry, and I, had a lot of energy, and I took the job with a lot of passion. And I was doing great. I was 18 years old, making $70,000 a year, and I was working 4 days a week. And the other 3 days I was studying at UCF. And they also had a tuition reimbursement program. And I told you, I love to study, I love to get good grades, all of that. So I was getting A's, and they were paying me back for all my bachelor's. So basically, thanks to Alamo Rental Car, I pay my bachelor's. They pay for my bachelor's in finance and marketing. So that was a great experience too. Like, imagine that your education is paid as well. Um, so yeah, at that point, when I graduated from my bachelor's and when I transitioned as a business owner, and some people would say like, or they were saying back then, oh, it's risky, you should work for a job, 9 to 5. But I always had it on me. Actually, I owe it to my mom. My mom was an entrepreneur. She stayed home to take care of me. But even though she stayed home, she would take on side sales jobs. She was one of the first people in Colombia to sell the cell phones. And she was selling cell phones, Motorola, when they had the flip phones. She was selling those phones when they first came to Colombia. And I was, studying. She'll pick me up from school. Then I will go. She will take me to her work, to her sales meeting. So maybe that's why I'm so good with sales. And she was so influential. She never took no for an answer. So she would sell all these cell phones. And then she wasn't that great with technology, but then she would be like, okay, now go into this room. My daughter is going to explain you how to use the phone. So she will have me explain them how to use this phone and how to make phone calls, all of that. So, I mean, I was basically seeing her hustle and work so hard and do sales. And then I got a chance to also help her explaining the technology. So I think the spirit of entrepreneur was always on me. Also, when I was a little girl, she will buy me candy so that I will sell at school. And then at home, she also bought me like this little counter that I will have candy. So a friend came to visit me. I had like a little store in there, and they'll buy from me. So my entrepreneur business spirit, I owe it to my mom. My mom was an entrepreneur at heart since the beginning. And then my work ethic, working so hard, being so persistent, loving to study, I owe that to my dad. My dad is a genius, super smart, one of the smartest person that I know. And he is taking these factories in Colombia. And the latest factory that he joined, they were doing like 3,000 tons of sugar a day, and now they're doing like 30 million of tons of sugar. So he's literally a genius, and he's very smart, really hard work ethic. So I owe that to him as well. So I'm very grateful with my parents, everything that they did for me with what they had. And yeah, and so I took that, had a dream, came here to America, and very grateful to God that I had the opportunity to be successful here. Now help my family back. I helped my mom retire, helped my dad retire as well. So I am very grateful for everything that has happened for me and for my family here.
You are the broker and owner of Florida Dreams Realty. When did you start that firm, and how has that really changed your life, given this renewed focus on just one thing, and that is selling real estate?
Yeah, so when I decided to just focus on real estate, then my whole focus, I'm the broker owner of Florida Dreams Realty Group. It's a minority woman-owned company. So when I decided to just focus on real estate, it gave me more of an angle of just specializing on these and focusing on different avenues, but in real estate. So at that point, I was working with buyers, I was working with sellers, I was doing flips of my own, buying rentals of my own. I also was very active with the Latin community. I had a radio show in an AM radio station, a Hispanic radio station for 10 years, where I was talking to Latinos about the options for homeownership. At that point, also, there were some issues in the economy back then. So short sales became popular and foreclosures. So I was explaining the audience about alternatives to short sales, alternatives to foreclosures, and all of that became very dear to my heart. I worked on that for a while. I did from driving clients for hours to homes, to them say no, I'm not going to put an offer, or I went with my cousin as an agent. I mean, I feel that I paid the dues for the last 20 years in real estate, 22 years in real estate, just basically working every avenue of real estate with buyers, with sellers, new construction, flips, rentals. And then at some point, I decided that I had a dream. I will see these brokers that had so many listings, and I wasn't sure how it was possible to have so many properties at once. And then it was really hard to get into this industry, the foreclosure industry. And I somehow, somebody named the link of a conference without wanting, and I went to this conference in Dallas and realized that this was the place where there were decision makers of banks, of bank servicers, where they were back then was the foreclosure boom. Companies were foreclosing on people because they created these loans that everybody can basically just breathe and then get a loan. The Nina loan, the Ninja loan, the no income, no assets, nothing, just only breath. So obviously at some point the economy was going to collapse with that. And at that point, so I went to that conference. I didn't know anybody at that conference, but I was so excited about my career, so passionate. I felt that I was like this rocket that was just about to take off. And that's when I met you. And I met other brokers from other cities. And I just told them, hey, like, I'm new in this industry. I just need to just let me help go into this meeting with you. Say I'm your assistant. I'll carry your bag. I'll buy you coffee, a drink, something. So I crashed every single meeting basically there. And I just got in front of decision makers, gave them my business card, asked them to give me a chance. And luckily enough, when I came back from that conference, somebody from Wells Fargo called me. They were my first client. They had like 5,000 agents on a waiting list. You used to work for Wells Fargo. That's also when I met you. And yeah, and they hired me on the spot. And next thing I know, they sent me 20 homes for me to manage. And at that point, I was less than 30 years old, and I called my mom. I hired her. I hired my sister. I hired my brother-in-law. I was less than 30 years old, and I was employing all of these members of my family that I never dreamed I could employ, but it was great that it was happening. And then from there, I started getting other clients. I started learning the business. I got other clients, Chase, Fannie Mae, Bank of America, and then I was selling 200 homes a year. So I basically sold about 1,500 homes through that period of about 7 years. And as I was doing that, I was also doing flips on my own, buying homes, fixing them. I started doing rentals, buying homes, fixing them, renting them, and basically that was a great time for my business, for my career. That's how I really got established and really well in this industry, and that's how I started learning about investing, about diversifying, and just the passion for real estate became even greater for me. And at that point I was doing the MBA at the same time at night, and then I decided to get my JD at the same time at night as well. And I'm combining, running a business with education wasn't hard. I mean, was hard, wasn't easy, but it was so worth it that I was able to do all of that. So yeah, so that's basically what the super busy years of my career with foreclosures.
Adriana, I'm so impressed with your work ethic and going to school, acquiring an advanced education, passing the state bar, building an REO business and a retail business, and investing in real estate yourself. So, taking all that into consideration, give us kind of an overview now of where you are. Many real estate agents help people buy real estate, but as you know, there are many real estate agents that don't even own their own home. And if they own a home, that's all they own. They don't invest for themselves in real estate. But that's not your case. So, if you could share with us your investment history from the beginning to where you are today, because today you are financially independent and very successful real estate agent, broker, and investor.
Yes, Eric. So I started, like I said, I bought my first home when I was 20. Um, so after that, I started doing flips on my own. I started buying homes, fixing them, selling them for more. I started buying rentals, buying homes, fixing them, renting them. So I started on that path for a while. I've been doing that for 20 years of my career. And then and just kept doing that basically. At this point, just also I took on the management of my own properties. I took on the renovation of my own properties. So not only buying them, but also renovating them. That's a lot of work. Building a network of employees, of contractors, managing them. That's also building a management team that can work on those properties. I still, I work with selected buyers, selected investors. I still work with corporate sellers for foreclosures. I also have been doing also diversifying into commercial. So I have acquired some multifamilies. That's a different part of the business that I've been learning, and it's become also very popular. Multifamilies are like the hottest thing in the market right now, and they have been for a while. So I've been learning the business of multifamily as well. And happily to say that I recently acquired a hotel, acquired a 14-unit hotel in Vero Beach last year in December. So I'm very excited for that new part of my company, of the business. We service everything. We service basically residential, commercial, buyers, sellers, investors, investors of residential, investors of commercials, and now, working as a hotelier and working on that space, looking forward to what that's going to bring to our portfolio, what that's going to bring to our clients, to the net worth of people that we work with, and just different new level or people of masterminds, and just just basically like I would always know that you have to adapt to change. And as the industry has changed, as the market has changed, as opportunities show, you cannot always stay as Kodak, as companies that probably have not evolved as much. But evolution in your own business, I think, is super important. And right now, I'm very excited about this new season with multifamilies, with hotels, with commercial properties. still with residentials. So basically exploring all opportunities that are in real estate, basically looking at real estate from a wide angle view of what is there, what is available, where is the right place to be at, what is the next thing that is happening.
Adriana, you have utilized your knowledge and your experience in real estate to build your own personal wealth. And not only has that helped you become financially independent, but it also has put you in a position to be an authentic advisor, someone who not just can talk about it, but is actually living it. So, for example, you can help someone purchase a motel because you own a motel. Tell us a little bit about that motel.
Yeah, well, I ran into this opportunity just looking for multi-families. I found this property who's located in Vero Beach. It's 14 units. It does have a hotel license. It's run as a motel. And I basically have been working on this for a year. And now I acquired it last year, I mean, in December. And I'm going to let it run for some time and then do some renovations. And then basically rebrand it, change the position, change how it is held. It's gonna go from a motel to a boutique hotel, and play the value add position on that, where we used to be run by a mom and pop, by a older couple that was ready to retire. And now here I come. I'm young, I'm hungry, eager to make this something new, something different. So there is a lot of opportunity in that property. It's a lot of opportunity now in multifamily, in hotels, a lot of properties that have the value add, basically from somebody that wants to retire or somebody that is not managing it well. So that's basically the project that I'm working on right now, along with many other things.
Now, trying to buy a hotel is a very involved process. I mean, it's financing, it's structuring the deal, it's the amount of money needed for the down payment. It is a serious undertaking, and you have gone through that process, and that puts you in a position to help others who might be interested in purchasing a hotel. This really separates you from a lot of real estate brokers who just don't have that experience. And even those who may have the experience of selling hotels, but they themselves don't own a hotel. You also are an investor of multifamily units. Tell us about your most recent multifamily purchase.
Yeah, so I acquired a 20 unit multifamily in Tulsa, Oklahoma. And then I also have acquired like three duplexes in Arkansas, and have a couple of multifamilies here in Orlando as well. So yeah, basically acquiring multifamilies, it's nice because you have all the properties in one place. When you do the management, when you do the rental, it's much easier. Yet, it's very competitive market. All these hedge funds are coming after multifamilies. They only want a cap rate of 2% or basically nothing. So it is not as easy as I mean, it's just not easy, but hopefully the market changes and some opportunities may be coming back. But yeah, like anything, persistence, when you really want a property, just persistence, keep networking, keep looking, keep searching. At some point, some opportunity is going to show. There is enough business and enough opportunities for everybody. So yeah, still in the market for that, for more multi-families, hopefully larger units at some point. And like you said, yeah, going through the processes is difficult. Going through the financing, you have to have all your finances in place, your profit and loss, balance sheet, just assets, list of assets, list of properties owned. So it's very important that somebody has all of their financials in place when they want to get started in the commercial field, because the bank is going to ask you for all of that, and you have to position yourself in a place where they feel comfortable taking on a bigger loan, taking on something that is riskier.
Adriana, purchasing multifamily units, getting all those doors under one roof, it is much easier than managing a lot of single family homes. And so you know that from firsthand experience, because you've also over the years have bought single family homes. You are in a unique position to advise and direct anyone looking to buy or sell real estate. You have the education, you have the transactional experience, and you have the personal experience of helping people to build wealth in real estate. I am so glad you are a VIP agent on the Powers Now, because our goal as a media company is to provide not only the information, the tools, and the resources, but the people that can help them make it happen. Thank you so much for sharing your life, your story with our audience today. And do you have any final words or thoughts you want to share with those who may be listening to the podcast or watching the show?
Yeah, my final thoughts is that, like, get out of your comfort zone, be brave, be courageous. It's not easy to be a real estate investor. It's easier to just, get a commission and spend it, or just go on a vacation or buy a nice car or do something like that. But it takes a very disciplined, hard mind and spirit to save and to be committed, to build different future for your family, which is what I've done, for 20 years. Be committed, be with that vision of what do you want to do, where do you want to be in 20 years from now, where do you want to be, so you can help out your parents, you can help out your family, so you can help out your community, your friends, you can inspire others, your own kids. So make a decision, and the power is now for you to take that decision, for you to make that decision. If you haven't been that wise with your money, or you haven't had the opportunity, today is the day for you to take that dream to your heart, and then basically make the actions today, just one step at a time. You don't have to be like having all these resolutions and things that may not be able to accomplish. Write down 3 things that you want to do for this month, and just make sure those 3 things are done, and that's taking you towards your goals, towards your future, towards that vision that you're planning.
The power is now. It really is, folks. To build wealth in real estate, Adriana Montes is in a position to guide you and to help you. She's a VIP agent on the Power Is Now Media. We have other agents just like Adriana Montes who are extraordinary, doing big things. And if you're looking to build wealth in real estate, then you need to start with thepowersnow.com. And there you'll find extraordinary individuals like Adriana Montes. Remember, we are at our best and we maximize our success when we act now. The power is now. Thank you for watching.